One thing you want to look for when you're dividing comfrey roots, and that is the crown. There are two parts to a root, the root and the crown. And the reason that this matters is that the crown is basically a year-old comfrey plant. You plant this and it'll most likely bloom into a full-sized comfrey plant the same year, whereas root fragments are going to be one season behind. Small detail there, but it's worth paying attention to. To distinguish between the crown and a root piece, you're just looking for the area at the top of the root that starts to transition to a leaf stem. And these pieces are huge. I could get a few crowns from each of these if I needed more plants, but this amount should do the trick for my needs. Sometimes the crowns have a little pinkish purple tint to them. And before we plant these out, there's one optional step that we're going to take, and this is a root soak solution. I dehydrated these root cuttings and crowns for a couple days because they were pretty damp after digging them up and washing them off. And when you dehydrate a root cutting, I know that people are going to freak out about this, but if you kind of have the chance to boost the health of the plant long term a little bit. So drying them out is a slight stressor. They want to take a drink of water, and then when we give them that drink, it's full of nutrients, enzymes, microbial activity, hormones that all give it a boost. And it's gonna soak them up much more than if it was fully hydrated already. I have this root soak solution made out of my Korean natural farming inputs. This contains lactic acid bacteria, fermented plant juice, apple cider vinegar, and oriental herbal nutrient. I've diluted them all per their standard dilution rates. So 1 part LAB, 1 part FPJ, and vinegar to 500 parts water. And my OHN is a 1.5 years old, so I diluted it 1 to 1500. And this is just going to give the dehydrated root cuttings something to soak up. It'll give them a little blast of immunity, some nutrients, some vigor, and keep them from being as susceptible to pathogens. I'm just soaking them for a few hours before planting. I didn't quite mix up enough here so to fully submerge all the roots and the crowns, but that's okay because they're not really soaking it up for too long. I'm just sort of turning them around and mixing them up over the course of a few hours so that they all get exposed to the mixture. And you can do this with any plant that you dig up and propagate, bare root plants. We've of course got videos on this channel for all of them, but if you would like them all in one place and would like to support our work on this channel, you can use what I use, which is my new book, A Home Gardener's Guide to Korean Natural Farming. Available now on Amazon and in ebook from my website, thegriffinfamilyfarm.com/the-book. There you go, shameless plug done. And back to the root soak solution. A side note here, but the comfrey is actually what I make the majority of my fermented plant juice out of. So sort of a full circle moment here. And now that these have fully soaked and are ready to plant, that is what I'm gonna do.